Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
I rang Roo, low, low, low.
And folks, it is Thursday, which means it's time for another match of Steel Division 2 from the Season 3 League. Today on Krupa, we see an old division that we kind of know really quite well. Rank, who do we see?
On left-hand side in blue, we have ourselves Sehandur playing as 21st Panzer, and on the right-hand side in red, we have Shaun playing as 184th Rifle Division.
Well, I mean, if we're looking over at Shaun, the balance thing versus... Ooh, is that V for Victory? What the heck is that doing there for Sehandur? We've seen Sehandur before with his kind of air
Oh, I
sets
think that's
opening.
Juggernaut. That's Juggernaut.
Oh, but wow, yeah, I'm sorry. It's one of those things you so rarely see Juggernaut in that kind of 1v1. It's so weird. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
what's kind of throwing me for a moment here. Um, but no, I mean, Sehandur over here with the whole idea of air sets opening, pretty used to that. Against strokey DPs, though, I suspect the North is going to be lost rather quickly.
Yeah, yeah. This is not looking too good for him so far. Just a lot of strokey DPs, and we now have Flammerer for troop share, which are pretty good, but a lot of strokey DPs, and also Sean's been very heavy on the air power. I mean, goddamn, looking at the center here, that tank does need to keep push. That is perfect with the smoke.
Well, and that's kind of what we kind of expected here. Shaun is definitely at the top of the game
Mm-hmm.
with this, but a Pack 38, which is in pretty good position. Question
Yeah,
is, how many kills can he manage? And the answer doesn't seem to be very many. He
just needs
might
to
get
keep
one
getting
shot off.
out, and that's a pretty damn good position to be in. If he can hold that like town area, you can really put a lot of havoc up north and down south on the other side of the river. I mean, it's a good river crossing to hold on to.
Well, it's not too surprising overall. I mean, if you want to go, you desperately want to always hold the central position on any kind of map. I know
Mm-hmm.
everyone loves being edge lords, but
Quite literally. But yeah, yeah. Like, it's always risky to push center, but by God, it can really be worth it if you make it work. It's just a
yes.
tactical tactical flexibility in where you want to push is fantastic. And there's usually a lot of flags in the center.
Meanwhile, we have this boy to Sherman
Mm-hmm.
who might come up behind a couple of these half tracks. Ooh, these half tracks are rather gutsy. Ooh, we'll miss them.
But the Sherman won't.
No, no, not from that range. Yep.
Down
And
they
just
go.
like that, a little bit of that early advantage has been kind of squandered by being just a bit too aggressive here
Mm-hmm.
with that light vehicles.
Yeah, really what Shaw needs to bring up some anti-tank guns to help secure the position. Fortunately, Sahad is only really bringing in burst trooping, so I think a Molotov will definitely dissuade him from moving up any closer.
Actually, kind of fascinating to see how aggressive these Shermans are being utilized.
Mm-hmm.
I say aggressive. I mean, he's on his own side of the 50-yard line, obviously, but just interesting nonetheless.
Yeah. And having those Shermans as 21st is definitely a very nice thing to have early on, because, you know, they're pretty good fire support tanks. They've got stabilizers, decent armor, lots of machine guns, and it's a nice thing to have as the Germans. You know, get to use the enemy equipment. The 21st Panzer likes doing that a lot.
So here's the question. Oh, it seems like the blister over here from Shaun in the center might get popped pretty quickly.
Hmm.
Would it have been better to just hold that initial kind of ground and to just throw more troops in it and then force a breakout, or is it better to do what he did?
Probably would have been better to just get like a little bit of extra defenses out sooner and just hold that initial town area. I mean, now he's got an anti-tank gun being brought in, which is what he needs. As 184th is a decent anti-tank gun lineup, but not a lot of tanks, which can
Yes.
be a bit of a pain.
Well, and that was sort of what I was thinking, but because at the same time I'm looking at the approach, let's say, avenues into that town, and the 45 mil, while it can definitely find its own version of effectiveness here, um, it's not able to actually protect the town should that be an issue.
Yeah, and even against Germans, he's gonna have a pretty hard time knocking them out. So it's really gonna come down to the infantry just trying to hold. And tank to sneaky, he's gonna do pretty good. but once those vehicles start coming in, they're gonna have a bit of a hard time. And currently, where that Sherman is, it's pretty much blocking off the bridge reinforcement point.
Exactly. Exactly.
Down south, though, things are looking a little bit better for Shaun here as he's pushing with the classic strokey DP push. The sniper could get a little bit closer to help out. And this could be another bridgehead, yet Shaun could be able to capture and be a pretty easy one to hold. It's just town and forest galore. Perfect for anti-tank gun play.
Well, we do have a 233 coming in, which I kind of like. 233 is going to be a bit more of a standoff position away from the actual bridge and just be able to look down that span, which is just a delicious line of sight.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I also like we're also seeing some Gepards coming on out too. I like the addition of the Gepards to kind of strengthen that anti-air. There's been a lot of usage from that already.
Yeah, so Sehandur only really has to worry about bringing in, a light and, a bit of medium armor. He really doesn't need King Tigers. Well, he might need them a little bit later on against like those ISU 122s. But against the majority of 184 stack, it's really just infantry spam. So he needs all infantry support vehicles that he can get.
It certainly does seem that way, doesn't it? To the north, you see a couple of the points of Shermans are going to get aggressed on and taken out pretty quickly by a 45 mil from extremely close distance.
And if those Shokies can, get onto the flank, they have a pretty good chance of disabling some of that Sherman's optics or tracks, etc., with those anti-tank rifles.
Mm-hmm. Pilot injured. Apparently he has quite the healing factor, though, because he'll be uninjured in about 8 seconds.
Mm-hmm. He just has to wait for his HP to regenerate,
Oh, that's true. That was true. I was
Yeah.
thinking more like a Logan Wolverine kind of moment there, but you're absolutely right.
I was just thinking Call of Duty.
Oh, no, I picked up what you were laying down, but at that point, if we shoot the red barrels, then the Soviets get angry, so it's this whole thing, so... down to the south, actually, we have this IL-2 coming in for some desperate, let's say, supportive fire.
Yeah.
He does have those troops across, you're right. He actually is getting that bridgehead, but I don't know if that's going to be a lasting impression.
I don't think so. Yeah, Sehandur's doing a pretty good job of pushing these blisters wherever Shaun is pushing. And well, eventually he needs to try and actually make a push across the other side of the river, so to speak. And I think down south would definitely be his best shot of doing that with a counter push, as he has a lot of troops here and a decent amount of armoured support.
A rather poorly placed rocket run over there. Not entirely sure what he was aiming at. It was a different zip code. But drips and drabs of materials coming into the north again. So we have more SS troop in, which I think is pretty much how Sehandur builds his 21st Panzer consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Which, of course, has such a problem for me from an aesthetic standpoint. Let alone the whole actual, relative tactical uselessness of them.
You don't get a lot of infantry slots, to be fair, with 21st. Having those numbers helps, but I mean, in the day, it's still only SS troop, and you do need to have tanks backing them up constantly if you want them to actually be able to push anything.
And that's the thing. It's like I don't want to have to go and focus hardcore about making sure that I have to protect my tanks because my infantry can't do anything on its own. So I don't know. I mean, it's just my own particular idiosyncrasy. So take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I gotta admit, Shaun's been doing a really good job just really utilizing his air power. 184th has some pretty good airplanes in its arsenal, a lot of IR2s as we're seeing, and he's using them to great effect just to strafe the everlasting Jesus out of really anything.
That's good, because for the moment otherwise, his troops are getting pounded.
Mm-hmm.
And we're still not seeing any Geppers down to the south, which is, again, rather shocking for me. I kind of expected something.
Yeah, this is where it's getting hit hardest at the moment. Now, the one in the middle is getting some shots off now. So it's been a little bit useful.
Watch me straight to death.
Yeah.
Yep, that's embarrassing.
I'm an anti-aircraft gun. I'm meant to be the one killing you.
Wait, that's not in the script.
Yeah. It says anti-air. Don't you see it? Anti.
Oh, I mean, so it's like Uncle Tank, like Uncle Joe. So that's what they actually meant to
Oh,
say. They're
yeah.
related to each
Yeah.
other. It's a
You
whole
need to
thing.
bring an Uncle Air Gun.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. At that point, the woodshed upgrade, and it gets a whole whooping happens. So, and we're seeing actually another Gepard coming in to replace the unfortunately killed. At the same time, we're seeing a huge Jeep convoy of Ognamachiki moving in, along with this ISU 122. So, watch to have a new kind of revivified push. Although coming across right now, we have going right into other Flammenwerfer troops.
Yeah. I think he realizes he needs to fight fire with fire here.
Well, you know what they said the other way too, where there's smoke, there will be fire as
Yeah.
well. So,
Yeah. I do find it very ballsy as ISU position. I don't blame him for putting him in there because you need to get it close to actually do any fire support. But it
uh
does
huh.
open him up to, a Panzer Strike shot.
No, it opened up to that if Sehandur did anything but build,
Hmm.
air sides openings. Of course, when I say that, that's when we have a Panzerfaust squad to the south, we have a Panzer Schreck to the north, but the Panzer Schreck squad's going to be picked up in about 3 seconds.
Yeah. Shaun has definitely enough infantry backup to keep ISU not flanked.
And well, this is the moment that I say, where is my mortar team? Okay, so there's a off map coming in now with
Yeah.
105.
Yeah, this is a pretty damn good push here from Shaun. He's actually managed to, exploit a bridgehead, but actually have the firepower here to keep it secure. ISU is going to be a real tough nut to crack.
It certainly does seem that way.
He needs really like a Pack 40. He needs to get an anti-tank gun really, or Panzer 4. I mean, he can blow it up with a Sherman or Panzer 4 at closer range, but
I
still a
mean,
bit risky.
he's got the anti-tank gun, but the anti-tank gun is just in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, he could get line of sight if he moved just a little bit south, I believe, but he's pretty happy where he is.
Yeah, I suppose I can understand that quite easily. We are into Phase B, so I mean, increasing points on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Question is, what's Sander going to do with it? Right now, he's just continuing to play for time. Pack 38, like you said, here comes the anti-tank gun. A
Yeah,
couple of P-Grens, just to kind of bolster the lines a second. So, not the worst thing in the world, but not ideal.
he needs to just try and keep Shaun contained in his northern breakout. He's only losing by a 1 point advantage right now, so it's not terrible. He can still contain this, as you do have those pretty much the two roads that lead out of where the ISU is. They're pretty defensible positions, all things considered. And once that off-map artillery finally gets to the front line, it's a little bit slow. So definitely buy him a bit of time.
These are the guys I remember from, oh my gosh, I can't think which division it was over in SD44.
Uh, 16th Luftlander.
Yes, thank you. Where we had these stumbling kind of geriatric vehicle columns
Yeah,
coming towards the front.
and they had the ones with the machine guns
Mm-hmm.
in the thing, which is definitely an odd combination.
Certainly is.
ISU actually getting a little bit pounded here by the Pack 38, which is getting into position. Its armor is holding up. Oh,
Guns
gun
jammed it, and
jammed.
now there goes the usefulness.
Yeah. If he can just track it, that's pretty much a useless tank.
At that point, it's not even really a tank. It's just like a pillbox with no guns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But not content just to be active in the north. I've actually Cherno's trying to go over here to get ready for a push across the central position, which again might be okay. Yes, that's actually we have an MG42 moving to the north, not to the central position.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, a Shadow push could work. I mean, it's only going to be fine as trooping, so they pretty much match the match in that regard. He does have armored
Yes.
support now and artillery support. Actually, very close range artillery support to try and help secure this push.
I guess we're going to see no repair trucks be moved in, which is interesting.
ISU can need to be fixed now, because it's really one of the key units holding that entire flank together. And now Sehandur's getting that off-map artillery in, pushing Shaun back towards the initial bridgehead. And yeah, he just has to keep him hold up here for a bit. Once Shifui's here, I bet you 21st Panzer are going to be seeing a King Tiger every minute.
Would not surprise, especially with
Oh,
220 coming on in, yeah.
yeah, I mean, you can buy a King Tiger and get infantry to back him up.
Which is a curious thing to think that King Tiger
Yeah,
actually could infantry support.
yeah.
And at long last, the recon plane does in fact go down. But the Cherno push is already being rather radically successful, taking out one squad of air assault troop and opposing them,
Hmm.
even as the artillery barrage comes down in the north and causes a bit of hassle. Nothing too extensive, but it gives an opportunity for these P grunts to start making an aggressive move on in.
Yeah, there is our scene, yeah, the Panzer Force being brought in to try and secure the central position. Really, of course, you need a little bit more infantry, probably some pioneers help clear out those journos, some mortars as well. But now we're seeing a decent AA net here from Sehandur of all those Gepards, which is keeping the IL-2 at bay.
What a shame they actually can't kill it, but that's
Hmm.
a different discussion for a different time.
Yeah. And finally, Shaun's artillery support column of all sorts of guns, self-propelled and not so self-propelled, finally making it across that bridge, and if you can get ISU into position, those Panzer IVs are pretty much buggered.
Yes, they are.
Heck, even that artillery gun, the big 122, can also
Mhm.
blow up Panzer IVs, which is quite a nice benefit of having heat shells.
Ooh, we can see it actually happening already as one of the P4s goes down.
Hmm.
And that's not a cheap one either. Those are the command variants that we're concerned with right now.
Definitely don't have a lot of them in terms of availability.
Unless they're second lieutenants, at which point there's all too many of them.
Mm. I've seen some mortar half tracks being brought in from Sehandur, which is definitely a very good call. I can easily route out those journos with their disheartened spirit. I've seen a counter push here up north as well from Shahandur of a bunch of Panzer Grenadiers. Shaun doesn't really have much here. ISU's running all around to the corner. Still hasn't been repaired yet. Finally a Matador's being brought in to try and do so, but ISU isn't in the most convenient position. I think Matador's going to try to do it across the river.
Well, as I say, that's the impressive part, though. I mean, those repair guys, man, they could just yeet stuff across 100 meters.
Catch ish! They just throw a brand new gun.
It's like those are the guys you want to have on your softball team.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think, yeah, he is going to be able to repair the ISU here, so as I see a pretty good spot. Now if he can get it back online and into the fray, those Panzer Grenadiers will be Panzer gone. But, oh look, we got the I do like how Sherman is up north to try to, shoot anything that goes across river, but right now with that smoke he's can't really see all that much.
No, he can't. And the ISU being redeployed, like you said. But Cherno's being brought on in. I don't know if Shaun just put a weak infantry for his Phase B material, or if that's just, dumb luck here. But
Probably. I mean, Cherno's compared to Ursap's trooping are actually a bit better because they actually have a machine gun, and I
mhm.
believe, yeah, only have machine gun. I thought I would say anti-tank grenades, but that'd be too nice. Yeah, a little bit expensive. Oh, I guess it's kind of an argument whether this be 20 or 15 points. 20 is probably fine, but still not extremely cost efficient for 20 points compared to other infantry options. But the balanced choice is what I'm trying to say.
What I was about to say is that actually, if you look in the central position, the ISU 122 has been taken out, though I couldn't tell you exactly by what. And right now, we're back to these, an 85 mils engaging with a P4. We'll
Mm-hmm.
probably kill the P4, but there we
Yep.
go.
Very close range anti-tank slash anti-air support. But as you see, with a little bit of artillery, Shaun is, holding on to your central position. Maybe not for
For,
too long, as Sehandur is pushing pretty hard with his own infantry.
and we are 14 seconds away of something really, really devastating coming out. So,
Hmm. About hitting to C phase, and this is where the income disparity starts to get pretty bad, but Shaun soon, he's done so far pretty well in the first 20 minutes. He's managed to, knock down Sehandur to half of his victory points, so referee can just, hold what he's got, which is what 184th is pretty good at. It's a pretty good holding division.
I mean, yeah, that's why you had the Shadows in the first place.
Put them behind every building, every forest, and artillery anything that you dare see. Or airplanes in this case, which I guess is flying artillery.
Certainly true. Requires a little bit more technical skill to have those shells land than the other ones.
An AC-130 would be literal air artillery. No, I think
that would be.
That's literally aerial artillery.
But that's a different game or a different movie, or however you want to look at it that way.
Oh.
With ICU went down to the north, by the way.
Oh, I think
it's the pack.
Yeah.
I believe it's the pack. Has that less APCR shells than previously. So. But I'm curious to see how many ground kills, the IL-2s have had.
Yeah, they've been doing a pretty good job of just keeping everything suppressed. I don't think I've gotten a lot of kills, personally, but I think a suppression and just keeping the Germans' infantry heads down has definitely paid for itself.
Seems entirely possible about that. But now, as we are into Phase C, Shaun's not brought in a huge amount of material. I don't know if Macy's running low on deck or not. I can't see that he would be already.
Yeah, you get a lot of infantry of 184th. You shouldn't run out, even with, especially with a general division. You probably build heavy sea phase just like with Juggernaut.
But still, 11 minutes continue to be on Sehandur's clock over here. And the question kind of is whether or not he can kind of piece together a legitimate, powerful punch.
Yeah.
We're also seeing some Valentines coming into the north, so hopefully this will be a rather successful deployment and not a Valentine's Day massacre.
Yeah. Once again, good defensive units here. Valentines can't move forward down, but if you stick him in a place, especially with freestyle veterancy right now, the leader bonus, they are goddamn machine guns with their cannons.
True. And the 57mm is a surprisingly potent gun.
Yeah. He's got, Sehandur's just, he's got the factories working overtime here. He's bringing out a bunch of 233s for fire support. But two of them in the middle just get yeeted by the 85mm downrange. I think in the central position really could use a King Tiger.
It probably could. First Valentine goes down to the north, and this is when those peak rens really start to show their value.
Yeah. Especially against Chernos.
Yeah. Now the hand is on the other foot, so.
If these 233s can knocking out this infantry and clear the ray, maybe Sehandur can make some aggressive plays on the other side of the river, because now's his time to really try and push. And as you see up north, just the amount of material is ridiculous.
Well, we'll see. The occasional guy will be dropped here, but then the second, then we'll see just some devastating action going the other direction too. So. And the
half tracks are too fast for the Valentine. Couldn't keep a target. But the grenade you saw that grenade, right, Khan?
Yeah, I mean it arced from the forest and hit the middle of the bridge somehow. But yeah,
dude, Ivan has a hand. Like he used to be playing baseball or football or some other sport where you throw balls around.
Well, we have, I would say we had a rather effective moment here as this half-track is falling back across the river into enemy territory.
I guess if you're going through hell, you just keep going forward.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Winston Churchill was not German.
Yeah,
So I'm sort of very confused.
maybe I just took his advice. Guys, this guy, he does some cool things.
We should listen to this Americana. Oh, sorry, this Britisher. Wow, that was dumb.
Or the off map.
Yes, and that was devastating.
Yeah, yeah. That pretty much saved Shaun for now. And he's going to be able to secure that bridgehead because of that. This is getting pretty interesting now. Sehandur, he's starting to push hard, trying to retake the territory, but Shaun is still just holding on.
Oh,
He is
Grumbling Bear in the
set and
center.
defensive. Yeah, I have a feeling like Grumbling Bear's gonna go to a Grumbling Demise due to that ISU and 85mm gun. Once again, really just King Tiger here, blow up everything downrange, and then he should be able to secure bridgehead.
Ooh, is this a Cherno reinforcement to the south? No, this is a late game.
Rokies.
This is a face C Strotsky push. This actually will rupture the south. It's not going to be easy. He's going to lose probably 60% of them pretty easily.
Yeah,
And
fortunately,
a 280 off map. Ugh.
there's no enemy tanks down south. It's just infantry positions. He does have 2 infantry support guns nearby to help out, so maybe Rokies will be able to get to the other side. Mostly
Well, so they
intact.
won't get to the other side as the Grumbling Bear is now adorning someone's, let's say, foyer hall. He has been skinned by the 122.
Yeah, and as we can see from just that position on the hill, it's been pretty bloody for the Germans, losing quite a bit of tanks and other vehicles.
Yeah, I mean, between those three, even the M3 Lee is being successful there. That's
He's
how
still alive.
devastating that is.
And it's been pretty useful, just giving out an extra command bonus.
But forgive me as I watch the Strokies kind of begin their deployment off to the south here. And I didn't realize we have a brace of artillery positions to the south as well.
Those infantry support guns going to be helping out, but Sehandur is bringing in some Panzer Grenadiers and half-tracks. I think that extra half-track support will definitely help out in keeping those Rokies at bay.
Yeah, I think for the moment, just because these are not the PTRD type troops,
Yeah.
so...
Only have the anti-tank grenades, and Shaun's pretty happy to just stay in the middle of the road, so... But he's also pretty happy to drop down off-map. And fairly quick off-map, yeah.
Ooh, okay, I didn't realize he used the very, very brief TOT. This is going to blow... Yep, and... Yep. And that's all we needed to see. And while we are going to get a P4 down here pretty quickly, I don't know that that's going to be enough for the German defenses here.
No, he really needs a bit more in terms of infantry fire support. The Panzer Force definitely help out because the Strokies can't really do too much against them at long range. But once those Strokies get into the town, at that point you really need mortars and pioneers to clear them out. At the same time, Shaun's taking a long time to get into the town. I think he's being hit a little bit by his own artillery.
But you know, that kind of loss ratio is fine, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
What's not fine is getting shelled by this 88 mil. And that's how the entire push dies.
88 really coming in clutch here. Because if he can keep those Strokies out in the open, the Panzer Grenadiers will eat them up.
And if Shaun can get the artillery barrage down in time, the Strokies win. Oh, the drop just short. Right in the middle.
And the Strokies falling back, so that was a pretty damn clutch defense there from Sehandur.
I think he kind of got lucky that his enemy here got screwed on the artillery spread, though, too.
Yeah. If Shaun had some mortars just for smoke to advance, I think it definitely would have been a little bit better for him. He just needed to get into the town. But he was so close yet. so far.
Well, in an effort to push things otherwise, we actually ended up having to see 9 more Strelky squads come into the north. And I think while it will not be a particularly safe place to be in the north, I can't help but feel that the Soviets are going to win this engagement as he's just pounding waves over and over, slam
Yeah.
into Sehandur's kind of like dazed troops.
Yeah, and this is where really 184th comes into their full. It's just a goddamn amount of infantry they have. Just strokies for days and days and days and days. And in a map like this, where it's just going to come down to a bloody grind, you're more than fine with just bringing all the Stroki squads in the Soviet Union.
And you can see how dire the situation is. We see Afkler that's being brought on in over here from Sehandur. So
Yep,
that's no good, obviously.
some 222s. I'm so surprised we haven't seen the King Tiger.
I
Maybe
wonder if
maybe
that's
Shahandur doesn't even have it.
well, I wonder if this might be because Sehandur kind of looks at the matchup and says, I don't need to have a super heavy tank. What I need is tons of infantry instead.
Mm-hmm. We really need some heavy anti-tank, even a bloody Pack 43 to try and kill these ISUs. He's really haven't, like, he hasn't been able to take his central position back because of an ISU.
True. True. One thing that kind of surprised me is I always kind of forget that this northern bridge has 2 flags so closely placed to each other. Those are that's a win condition right there. If you own the northern crossing, you own the map.
Yeah. And so there's pretty much like 2 free flags there if you manage to capture. But right now, as you see, it's pretty 50-50 as both sides just engage bullets from across the river.
With that kind of in mind,
That's the off map. And
yep,
280 mil, pretty devastating.
yep, those guys are not long for this world. I almost feel bad for them.
They're definitely going to be able to see your own death with the binoculars.
Ooh, wait a second. Is this another Strokey push in the center too?
Yeah. Have too much
No,
cheekies.
Autobachikis and Strokies in the
And
back.
strokies. Got to mix it up a bit.
Jeez. Yep, this is the knockout blow. This is the punch that Ali never threw.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be rough. And watch the artillery barrage to the north. I'm definitely taking a look to see how that kind of final thrust comes in. Yep, the 280 has destroyed that defense.
God damn.
5 kills so far. 4 or 5 kills thus far.
And the central push is going to be coming in. And yeah, he's pretty much has a clear shot of getting right into the town. And the town is only really defended by Panzer Grenadiers. Not even with anti-tank grenades, or Panzerfaust, I mean. So they can't even kill the Avtomachikis before they get in close.
Exactly. Exactly. The only saving grace that Shaun has had to go around this little dip in the road here.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of a detour.
Yes. But I imagine we'll see a 15th flag within moments here. Whether that's above, below, somewhere in the middle.
There's constant air power being brought in.
And constant off maps for that matter too.
Yeah. Probably has the sea phase cards for the availability purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes all the Avtomachikis, they're coming down the road. Right down the road.
Worst kids song ever.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad one. I also don't like the Fido run, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit repetitive. I think most kids songs are repetitive on purpose. Like to drill stuff into kids.
I said the same. Wait a second. That's not true. I said the same things about Nicki Minaj.
And that too.
Oh, I refer you to the wisdom of you're a stupid. You're a stupid. And I
Oh,
mean, I can't actually use the language because at that point I'll get demonetized. But like, how is that a song? But regardless, we are into the final seconds here as Shaun picks up that 15th flag with his center thrust here, and that will be all she wrote. So well done to Shaun. Bad luck to Sehandur on this one. I maintain you got to go and get something a little bit more durable in the beginning
yeah,
than those freaking autos. Ear sets, rather.
yeah, it was. Sean did a really good job of just pretty much biting and defending what he held, which is what 184th is very good at. I
Mm-hmm.
think I think Sehandur tried to play more of a lighter armor 21st with like Panzer IVs, more 233s and whatnot, which you can make work. But on a map like that, where it's just a goddamn grind, where you're only fighting over 3 choke points, you
Mm-hmm.
need the heavy armor and heavy anti
Well,
tank.
look over at the 85 millimeter that was in the center of the field.
Uh,
Sarkisian. You'll know him when you see
oh
him.
wow, it's hard to miss.
And I know some of these are like half tracks. I know some of these things like an Alf Clara
It's
squad.
no, it's pretty
But
good.
yes,
It,
exactly. And ISU 122 from the that's also in the center as well.
yeah. Even the M3 Lee did decent for an M3 Lee.
And there's the off map from the north at
Yeah.
the end, and the
Killed
M42
tanks.
millimeter.
He's killed 3 tanks with the off map.
There's another one below as well that killed, well, one tank, but then several other
Yeah.
vehicles as well, several SPWs.
Losses,
There's an
Sherman,
M4.
alright. Nothing really in 21st.
But I mean, that's what's going to happen if you
Mm-hmm.
don't go and let's say hold your line efficiently. You're going to get spammed out by 184th. I mean, that's the lesson
Yeah,
of the day, isn't it?
yeah. And it is also, it's hard for 21st in terms of the infantry play.
I know,
You just
I
need the
know.
more artillery and the heavy armor.
Mhm.
But
That's
yeah,
true.
124th it's it seems like a pretty bad division. It is kind of bad, but on certain maps it can be really good.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly. I mean, this is one of those maps that it just worked out really quite well.
Mm-hmm.
And unless we forget the air power that was utilized was utilized to a T. So
Yeah. All those IO2s.
exactly. But folks, that's going to do it for us for today. So of course, you guys know there's still one more match for the week. So we'll see you guys in a couple of days. Until next time, I'm Connell Work.
Rangaroo, take it easy.